Welcome to Time Zones and Time Meters. We got a special guest, Ian, here today because we're gonna rank the Haken discography. How are you guys doing, Josh and Ian?
I'm good.
I'm pretty good, yeah.
I'm
Awesome,
excited.
awesome.
Super excited.
So Haken to me is not a band that I haven't got into, even though I should, because I'm a big Dream Theater guy, and to be honest, this is the same ballpark. And I know I've learned about these guys because they did the 12-step suit with Mark Portnoy like 12 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. And a colleague of mine was like, "Oh, you're a Dream Theater fan. You should really like Haken." And so I listened to what was out then. They had like 4 or 5 albums out, I think. And now it's what is it now? 10? No, 8?
If
Something
you
like that.
include the demo, one, two,
About this
three,
much?
four,
Is it about this much, Ian?
8 albums.
Yeah.
It's about this much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, for some reason it didn't quite. There's some stuff I like. So I will mention when. But what are guests first? I'm not gonna do ladies first because I know that you usually do the more progressive ladies and gentlemen and
Guys, gals, and
non-binaries or
non-binary pals.
yeah. Yeah. So
That's my
guests
call
first.
sign. God, so
Yeah.
yeah, where did I jump in with Haken? That's a good question, actually. So, like back in 2010, like I was really just looking for something new to listen to, right? And so I used the old gold standard of prog archives. And yeah, it was still going back then, and it was like a lot bigger and a lot more popular it was like back then than it was now. But I was just
I'm
looking at
amazed that
like
it
the
still works like it
right.
works today. Yeah,
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 it
because it's
hasn't
so old
changed
school.
at all. Yeah, it has not
No,
changed at all since at least back then, which is kind of remarkable. It's kind of like a bit of a relic of the internet, but it still feels relevant to me. Uh,
it's just as if prog was for old people or something. Yeah, I
It
don't
yeah, yeah,
know.
really,
yeah.
it
Oh,
really is an
crazy, right?
archive. It really is an
Yeah,
archive.
exactly,
Yeah, it feels,
exactly.
it has
It's got that vibe.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I was looking at like the top albums of the year at the time, and I saw this one at the top. I saw this bad boy. I saw Haken's Aquarius, and I thought I had never heard of these guys before. What the heck is this? But it was really well rated. I saw it was prog metal, and that's kind of my vibe at the time. So I thought, screw it. Do you know what? I'm gonna go on a whim. This is before I had any kind of streaming service or anything like that. So I just thought, screw it. Let's take a chance, buy the CD, and see what happens. Arrived about a week later, I think it was, because bought it directly from the band. You had to go to like the MySpace page and go through all that kind of way, which was kind of wild at the time. Um, had a handwritten note from the band in it saying thank you very much for the purchase, blah blah blah. I don't have that note. I don't know what happened to that note. I must have like foolishly thrown it away. But I pressed play, and the first track of the Point of No Return kicked in, and I was immediately hooked. Like instantly, I was like, oh hello, what is going on here? And then you got these weird Wurlitzer of circus noises going on. I think, okay, these guys are weird. And then you get death growls randomly, and I was like, they're really weird. And it completely hooked me. It was everything I didn't know I needed at the time. And I listened to this album obsessively for a good 6 months. I just couldn't stop. I could not stop. I emailed them nicely and asked them for their demo CD, which they sent me as well, which is ridiculous because it's just literally a CDR with that written on it, and it goes on Discogs for about a lot of money. It's the most expensive CDR I've ever owned in my life. It's insane how much people pay for this thing. And I love that too. And I just, ever since then, every single time I've been waiting on tenterhooks for a new album. Visions was announced the year afterwards in 2011, and I couldn't believe I was only having to wait a year for more Haken material. Blew my mind. And I've just gone from there. I've never fallen out of love with them.
Cool,
Yeah,
man. Cool.
awesome.
Major fan. What about you, Josh? What's
Oh yeah.
your
So my relationship with them is much more recent. So I was just having a quick look then. It looks like the first time I really probably looked into them was about 2023. So
Oh,
yeah, so I was just having a quick look on Last FM because it records like my streams and stuff. And so it looks like it was September 2023.
okay.
So that falls pretty close to the release of Fauna, doesn't
Fauna.
it? Yeah.
Yes, yes, it
So
does.
so I think there might have been a bit of hype coming up because of that upcoming release, and so because of it, I started to check it out. I spoke to a friend of mine who was very familiar with their older stuff, and he said they're a good band. He gave me a few references to Gentle Giant and a few of their big influences, and he said, "Look, you'll probably like either love them or hate them." And so I sort of chucked them on, and I sort of just jumped around their discography a little bit, just sort of dabbling, and it didn't click with me straight away, you see. And so for me, it's been this like sort of a bit of a simmer for about 2 years.
Okay.
And eventually, like I sort of got into, I did actually quite like Fauna. I liked a few tracks on it, the simpler ones. So like Love Bites, for example, or
Yeah.
whatever's on that. And so for me, it's like, oh, I really like the hookiness. I like the some of the sounds. So I sort of persevered. And in the last probably 6 months, I've kind of realized, oh, sorry, when did they come to Australia? They came late last year, I think. So I was going to see them live, and I went, I'm
Hmm.
going to have to check this out. And when I did, I just went, oh shit, these guys are good. And then when I saw them live, I was like, oh, they're really good. And so then it was like, I have to throw myself in. And so I've used this meeting as the excuse to become incredibly familiar with their works. And so, Ian, I can thank you for that. And it's also, of course, looking at people like you who have reviewed them in the past, or Notes Reviews, or like these other places as well, who sort of really highly rate this band, that have made me go, look, I trust these guys. I've got to look into it more. Surely I can find it. And I now know, I now get it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I now get it. So I
Excellent.
would say I'm a bigger fan now than I was 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and they've grown on me, and I'm really enjoying the process.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Um, so to be honest, I had to like Google how do I pronounce this, and it is pronounced Haken, like it rhymes with bacon. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how big of a fan I was, and apparently this is
Yeah.
some
Oh, don't
um,
worry. When I first started, I thought it was Haken. I'd called it
right,
Haken
right.
for like the longest
Yeah,
fucking time. Like,
and
it
I
was
thought
ridiculous.
I heard someone explain that it's pronounced like that. So but everyone is saying Haken, and I had to Google it, and
Yeah.
indeed,
Yeah.
so it's some fictional guy they came up with when they were teenagers smoking weed in someone's room. Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, Haken rhymes with bacon, and they're
Yeah.
teenage friends. Yeah, and I guess when they first got signed, you had Ross Jennings
Yeah.
and Raymond Herne. Herne,
Raymond
yeah.
Hearn. Hearn.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, Hearn. Yeah, all right. And well, also Thomas McLean. Those,
Yes. Yes.
right? Yeah,
Tom McLean,
uh,
class bassist.
yeah. So yeah, so of course the release, like you just said, Aquarius. This is of course an album I heard a bit. I mostly remember the title track was like a 20-minute epic. Do I recall that correctly?
Not quite. Not quite. The longest is
No,
Celestial Elixir at around 17 minutes. But,
17 minutes. Okay, okay,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that's what
It's
I'm
it's
thinking
still
about.
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, what's your opinion on this one?
Oh, Aquarius, my God. Where do I start with Aquarius? Okay, like I said before, I heard this like for the first time and I played it for about 6 months, like non-stop. I just didn't want to listen to anything else because nothing else was ticking my buttons in any way. I think it's one of the most faultless albums in modern progressive metal. I honestly think it's brilliant. I don't think there's a single weak point on the album. It's remarkably well balanced. Like you've got so many heavy bangers like Drowning in the Flood and stuff like that. But then you've got the really light, airy stuff like Streams and the really kind of despondent weirdness and like melancholy of things like Sun. And then you bring it in at that last track of Celestial Elixir, where it's got this huge, massive sense of swirling bombacity about it, where it just throws everything in the kitchen sink at you. It just goes huge and low and up and down like a roller coaster like this all the time, and it's such a thrill to listen to. Like even now 15 years later, I think it's absolutely superb. The 2017 remaster I think is very good, but I keep it old school. I prefer the slightly muddier production of the original because it's what I'm used to. I mean, yes, technically it's not great production, it's fine, it's serviceable, it's a lot better production than on this bloody thing, which sounds like it was recorded on potato, but the songs are still very good, so we can forgive them that. But I love Aquarius. I think it's brilliant. I would controversially say it's still probably their best album. Maybe, potentially, but that could just be my nostalgia talking because I've got such great associations with it in terms of how it impacted me when I first heard it, you know?
You just have to keep that in the equation.
Exactly, exactly.
Right? Yeah, yeah. All right. Go, Josh. What do you think
Um,
of this one?
so this is one of the albums I hadn't done. So up until
Ah,
like a month and a half ago, whenever we decided to do this, I hadn't actually got there. And so I was like, okay, we'll see how it goes. And I'd read a little bit of mixed reviews on it. And
ah.
I'm now ranking, I mean, I've ranked them from 7 to 1 or whatever, right? So I have rankings, you have rankings, and are you good to
Ooh.
go? Could you
Kind
do
of in my
that?
head, yeah. I
Okay.
could kind of do that.
So
I could do that.
I'll give you a sec as we're talking as well, and you could argue with me. But I've ranked this one in at number three. I think this is their third best
Okay.
album,
Okay,
and
sure.
it's a really hard one because I think there's like it could be better. It could be better than third, but it was
Okay,
really good. And you're right in terms of consistency. Like I ranked all the songs before, like just what they feel like to me now, and there is not
sure.
anything that I would say is like everything is better than good.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
better
I
than
don't think
good,
there's a
better than
single
good, better
weak
than
moment
great.
on it.
No, there's nothing.
Yeah,
And there's also some really strong stuff, which I absolutely like too. So I put down Eternal Rain as just like it's great. What a great
yeah.
track that
Love
is.
Eternal Rain.
Drowning in the Flood is just so grungy. Like
Yeah.
it's got this like dirty
Yes.
Soundgarden, like I don't know if Soundgarden's a right thing. It's bring back like memories of like like Helmet, even from like that
Sure.
90s kind of dirty. I don't know. I love the sound. I like how it changes and shifts, and this is a real banger of an album. Like this was a
Oh yeah,
surprise
no,
to me. I
100%.
was just like,
Yeah.
shit, where do I put this? And so at the last minute today,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh my God. And then I'm looking at it and comparing to the other ones, and I'm like, because it has no low points, like to me, Haken can lose me a little bit sometimes, but it doesn't here. It's just like bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang, bang, bang. So I think consistency wise, this is probably like it's got to be one of the most consistent albums as well. So
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I'm putting it in at three.
Other yeah, I'd say other records have got stronger songs overall, but I
Yeah,
think as an overall experience, it's hard to fault it. I just think there's not a single miss. Other albums have got parts that lose me a little bit or don't quite engage me as much. But I just think Aquarius, from start to finish, it's not necessarily the strongest tracks, but it's the strongest overall experience for me, which is why I think if I had to choose a number one spot, I think it would have to be Aquarius for me.
yeah, that's good.
Spoilers.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's great. All right.
Cool. And then, so 1 year later, they release Visions, and this is maybe the 20-minute epic title track. Is
Yes,
that the
it
case?
is.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But it also contains Portals, the little shorter instrumental. That
yeah,
track I love. That is like my
yeah.
peak Haken experience, I would say. Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, it reminds me a lot of Dance of Eternity. It
Yeah, it's
kind
got
of
that
has kind
vibe,
of the
doesn't it?
same. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and 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 I love how they always put the instrumental version of everything. Uh, Portals doesn't change. No, never mind.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your what's your thought on this one, guys?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Visions. Yeah, God, I love Visions. Honestly, like you, as I say, coming into the sort of to contextualize this, coming into this album, obviously, I've been off the back of Aquarius for like 6 months. I've been writing this album so hard, and
mm,
I was jonesing for more material from these guys. I was like, oh my God, I need more. I need. It's not that I'm bored of Aquarius. It's just that I want to see, is this a one-trick pony? Can they do it again effectively? And the fact that we only had to wait a year for Visions is insane to me. It's absolutely insane to me because it feels like this was an album that they either had been writing at the same time as
yeah.
Aquarius, or they just, as soon as Aquarius was done, they were like, screw it, we're not really touring, so let's just get straight onto album number two. And it's so freaking good. I think the only thing which holds it back from being the number one spot for me is that some of the cuts on it aren't quite as strong for me as the overall experience of Aquarius. But that being said, Visions is a faultless masterpiece, and I will fight people who disagree with me on that. That title track As soon as I saw they were doing a 20+ minute epic, I was like, okay, here we go. Here we friggin' go. Because at the time, Dream Theater for me were kind of wavering a little bit. We'd had Octavarium in 2005, then we had Systematic Chaos 2007, and everything had been
I
building up.
think
I
this
mean,
is where Dream Theater started to fall off. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. They started
It
falling off a bit.
started with
2011,
yeah,
I believe it
with
was like two.
Octavarium. I thought it went
Yeah,
downhill
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you got Systematic Chaos, then you had Black Clouds and Silver Linings 2009, Dramatic Turn of Events in 2011, which I feel was their last truly great album. But you got that and this in the same year. Now, I suppose, again, to contextualize things, I have been the hugest Dream Theater fanboy for like the longest time. They were like the best band in the universe for me. They were the only band I'd ever consider getting tattooed on me. But then this dropped in the same year that Dream Theater dropped an album, and I have never been in a situation where somebody was going to challenge Dream Theater for me in terms of being the alpha and omega of progressive metal. But this bad boy comes along. It's got this 20-minute plus epic. It's got everything else I really, really enjoyed, and I was not prepared for how impactful this would feel to me. I think this is a brilliant piece of work. It feels so much more developed than it should do for given the amount of time it was since the original was released. You could tell they were still figuring stuff out when it came to production and making the record sound proper. But again, the 2017 remaster, you can argue, sort of fixes a lot of the issues with that. But taken as the 2011 original, with what it was, it felt cheesy, it felt silly in places, but it was a kind of cheese that you can enjoy. It was the good kind of cheese, not the bad kind of cheese. And I don't know, there's something about Visions was kind of like a secret sauce. It showed me that this band was more than just a flash in the pan. They were more than just a one-hit wonder with Aquarius. And I started to hope, against all hope, that maybe we were about to see the great British rise of progressive metal. They gave me hope. And I think that is what Visions encapsulates for me, is that feeling, that sensation of, hell yeah, let's go. We've got something special on our hands here. These guys are about to have an incredible career.
Yeah, well, that's a good write-up, guys. That's a good write-up. So I, on the other hand, again, have not really listened to this. So I came to these two albums like quite late. Um, this is my number one album now.
Ooh, good
Yeah,
pick.
this is a big, this is a great album. It's got this like slightly rawer sound, like because it's a bit older than their other stuff. So there is a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but to me, it gives it so much character. Like it's got this more like them feeling. It's a little less produced, maybe, is a way I'd
Mhm.
sort of put it compared to some of their other things. And I just loved it. Like pretty much like when I got into it, I just realized, oh wow, I think what I've done with my Haken journey is omitted the good stuff. So
Yeah.
I got into this and I just like it's such a strong album. It's just like we said it with Aquarius as well. There's no real low points for me in this one at
Exactly.
all. And I found myself with what is it, like Deathless? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that song, I was driving at the time when I first recognized it, and I just had to like quickly pull over for a second,
Hmm.
just have a look quickly, like just hallmark the track and go, wow, what is it that just grabbed and pulled me away from, whatever the hell I was thinking about at the time too. So I mean, it's good. Like Shapeshift is amazing. Visions
Hell yeah, it is.
obviously is a big. It's a big epic, and it's got it. Look, Visions, it does do the Haken thing a little bit with me. Like they do sort of do a little bit too
Yeah.
much. But like this, but in saying that though, like if you're gonna have a track that's that long, like this is your opportunity
Yeah.
to play and come back. And I think it ebbs and flows really beautifully. I think this album is really well constructed. It's well thought out. It's just the whole composition of the tracks is good, but also the greater, I don't know, like the way they've just put it together. I feel like it's a really
Yeah.
cohesive,
This
wonderful album.
this is the first album to feature Charles Griffiths and Diego Tejeda.
I think it's Tieda. I'm not sure. I have no idea.
Tejeda, yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Is that something that you notice with the keyboard sound or
Kind of,
guitar
yeah.
wise?
Yeah, it's weird to me because it feels a lot crunchier with the guitars when you compare it to Aquarius. You kind of feel that additional presence of Charlie on this. And again, when Diego comes in and does the keys, who the hell did the keys on the first one? I don't even remember. Was it still Diego? Was it something
Did he
else?
use?
And it
I
was,
mean, it's clearly 7 strings, or is it even 8 strings?
yeah,
Or it's very, very down tuned, at least on the if they
yeah,
use
yeah,
seven
yeah.
string guitars on it.
Yeah, it's got some chunk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much
I mean,
so. And yeah,
I was lucky enough to be able to see these guys live with their original lineup, which included Tom on bass. So that was quite cool getting to see them. And it was in a tiny little venue in Manchester. And they absolutely killed
okay.
it. They were so freaking good. It was like, it was quite funny. It was Halloween that they played. It was literally Halloween day. So, of course, being the guys that they are, they all wore Christmas jumpers because, they're funny.
Great.
And it was Haken, it was Leprous, and it was another band I don't remember. I don't remember who they were, which is kind of bad of me. But it was like seeing both Haken and Leprous on the same show on the same night.
Yeah,
Dude,
let's
it was
go.
nuts. They were like early in their careers, both of them. They only had a couple of albums out each, so the set list was quite, small. But that did mean that Haken played both Celestial Elixir and then closed off with Visions one
Wow,
after the other, which was so insane.
that's awesome.
I was like, dude,
Yeah,
ridiculous. I
wow.
loved it.
So I don't know. That's my number one. You know,
My number
there
two.
you
It's
go.
my number two. There you go.
They started
Uh,
strong.
They did. They
chronologically, their
really did.
third took 2 more years then, and yeah, The Mountain released in
Mm.
2013. Um, I mean, I've heard Cockroach King from this one. I guess is that considered their biggest, somewhat
Yes.
of a hit?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah. That is
yeah.
100%
Okay.
the biggest
That was
song.
the
Which is kind of cool because it is a kind of an unorthodox track with
Yeah,
like
it
this
really is.
a cappella
Yeah.
vocal harmony thing. It's almost like a
Yeah.
barbershop, which is not what you expect of a
No,
band's
it
biggest
really
hit,
isn't.
at least
Yeah,
not
yeah,
past 1940. So yeah, okay. Um, yeah. Further,
this
I
is
have no opinions on this one. Yeah.
just to start this. The Mountain was the first song I'd heard by Hagen. So that was
Okay.
the first
Okay.
song that I'd heard. So you can imagine me kind of going, and I'm gonna love this. What? Hold on, why is this so me? Like, but no. So that was my first experience, was to be able to have a bit of a dabble there. Yeah.
And when
Okay.
did you go further into this album then?
Pretty quickly was when I was dabbling into it, and this is why I don't think how can I put it? Like, look, let me put it this way. This is a fantastic album. Like, this is a
Mhm.
really, really good album. But for me, it's technical. It's diverse soundscape. It's got lots going on, and they get quite technical at times as well. And I lose music sometimes when people
Mm.
go off and split off from the key themes or the key whatevers. And so I think there was just a few things. I think it was ambitious for me to try and bite off that album early on. But when I came back to it, this is the album that I would bring up for people, where I say sometimes you shouldn't just base your opinions on just one or two listens. Some
Mm.
albums just get stronger and stronger and stronger with repetitions, and this is the perfect example of an album that transformed for me from being something where I was like, I'm not sure I like this band so much, like I'm unsure, to then going, oh, hold on a second. And I think my ears grown and matured over, however long it's been, the last 2 years. And it's really turned out to be a sensational one. So like, I put an early review up on my Instagram, because I review some albums there too. And the fact that it was up on that so early says something, like, it's significant to me. I think it's a really cool album. I think the note that I wrote down last was, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Help me, Ian. It's paradiolia or something.
Paradolia.
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 Like, that is
Yeah.
way better than I thought.
I
Like,
love that song so much.
yeah. So every time I
Oh,
re-listen to
good.
this album, I just go, I have like a new note that goes, shit, how did I miss that? Or
Yeah.
what happened here? Or why is it that this didn't develop early on? But look, it's good. It's a really solid album. Um, but and this is where I get a little bit embarrassed. Like, I rated this one at 6 out of their 7.
Ooh.
And the funny, and this is the weird,
Ooh.
I know, and everyone I know in the world is going to go, what?
Oh no, I love
Really?
that though. I love
Popcorn.
that you're not bowing to the pressure because most people consider this to be their best, and
Yeah, the
I
Opus.
appreciate the fact that yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that it's not that it's bad. It's not. It's fantastic.
No,
But
exactly.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
just the, you know how we mentioned before about like the consistency across the board with the
Hmm.
others, and for me also just I enjoy certain sounds more than other sounds a little bit. And so I've
100%.
had to make this
100%.
decision where I go, it is just as good as, what did we say? We just spoke about like it's up there with Visions, it's up there with
Oh, yeah.
Aquarius, of course. And I would say in some ways it's probably more refined. There's plenty of things that could, I would agree with people saying that it's better. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, just sheer enjoyment, sheer love, or sort of passion for the music that I listen to me, it's just, I have to put it at sixth, and I'm sure I'll get death messages because of it.
Well,
If it helps,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if it
Shoot.
helps, this is my number four. This is not number three. This is my number four.
It does help.
I
It
love the
does.
mountain. Yeah, I do
So
love
you're
the
both gonna
mountain.
get cancelled.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. We're gonna. I'm taking a stand. Like I say, I don't think, like for me personally, I don't think they've ever produced a single bad album. I think everything is good. You can pick any Haken album you want. You're probably gonna have a good time with it. And for me, coming into the mountain, especially after having basically been raised on the band since day one, I've experienced each album as new in the album cycle. I've not had to look backwards on anything. I got to experience everything as it came out. So the big thing that I noted when I was first listening to this is I was slightly disappointed about the fact there was no 15-minute plus epic on this one. You know, your longest tracks are still like they're just over the 10-minute mark, and that was disappointing to me. I'm not gonna lie. I was at that time back when I first listened to these where I was like, it's got to have the epic. The epic's got to be there. We're talking 17 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever minutes. Give me some of that. Give me all of that because that's what I'm all about. And this was the first time that they didn't do that. And outside of a couple of particularly memorable moments, like in Paradolia, where they've got that massive staccato palm muted guitars underneath the mandolin solo, which is the
It's so
coolest thing I've
good.
ever heard.
It's
It's
so
so
good.
freaking cool. Like even today, when that bit's coming up, and I've seen that played live. They don't actually use a mandolin; they just have an effects pedal on the guitar. But
Right.
whatever, it still kicked ass. It was amazing, and it was like the most hype moment ever. I remember the entire freaking audience going ballistic at that moment. You know, you're at a prog metal concert when people are moshing to a mandolin solo, basically, which is kind of fun. But no, one of my strongest actual memories of the Mountain is again I saw these guys live when they were touring because obviously UK band, UK tours, you get to see them a lot. I've seen them 11 times now, I think, which is quite a few. But it was the tour in support of the Mountain when it first came out, and obviously Cockroach King was the big hype. You know, everybody's mad for that song, and I think a lot of the popularity of that did come from the music video, the
Yeah,
whole
that's right.
Bohemian
With
Rhapsody
the
meets it was
Muppets.
Bohemian Rhapsody meets the Muppets, and then people thought that was hilarious, and it kind of went semi-viral at the time, especially in
Yeah.
2013 for a prog metal band to get that kind of attention. And I remember, like, I was right front and center in the crowd, like I was literally like right in front of Ross Jennings the whole time during that song. He was about maybe a foot away from me. So that was quite exciting. And it got to the climax of that song. He looked me dead in the eyes, right at me. I didn't initiate this. He initiated. This is all on Ross, man. And he just both hands up like that, ready for that. And I was like, this is a very special moment. I'm about to do a double high five with Ross Jennings. Oh my God, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. If I mess this up, I'm going to want to kill myself and throw it. It's not worth it. So I mentally prepared myself, boom, absolute 100% impact, double high five at the end of that song. Greatest moment of my life. Don't ever try and take that away from me because nothing will ever compare to that. Having kids, who cares? I got the double high five for Ross Jennings at the end of
I
Cockroach
thought
King.
you were
So,
gonna say you missed and high fived him in the groin or something,
yeah,
like
just
just
smack him in the
bang.
balls. They're like,
To
oh
the ball in
no.
the sack.
I was just trying to help him hit the high notes. Okay,
That's
it's
right.
fine.
Greatest moment of my life. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
punch Ross Jennings in the balls. I mean, that would also lie up there with the greatest moments of my life, So it's
Yeah,
fine.
But
I would have been
also, yeah.
embarrassed at the time.
yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, this album for me, like as you say, certain sounds you just feel you prefer better, and I think what brought this one down for me a little bit compared to the previous albums is I didn't feel there was as much sonic variety, and it feels weird saying that when you think about the moments on this album where there are sonic variety, like Cockroach King, very gentle giant, obviously. There's moments in Paradolia again, but a lot of it did feel it had more of that Devin Townsendian wall of sound. It was a lot more sort of in terms of its sonic delivery and in terms of its vocal variety and all. Whereas you had so many moments to breathe in the action with Visions and Aquarius. There was lots of breaks in the action. There was lots of
Yeah.
very different tonality going on with all kind of keyboard sounds and weird quirkiness. I don't think the Mountain had as much of that. I feel that this album, I don't want to say suffered from, this album was kind of influenced by the rise of the gent movement, the rise of bands like Periphery and Tesseract and what have you.
Yeah.
And whilst never explicitly going into full gent territory, you could tell that that kind of alteration of the musical landscape, as it were, was affecting the songwriting on the Mountain. And again, I don't want to say affecting like it's a bad thing. It was definitely influencing it. They were moving with the times. They were updating their sound to be relevant within what was popular at the time in the progressive metal community. And you did get a lot more of that staccato, palm muted riffing, which I don't dislike, but it didn't sit with me as well as the more quirky, more individualistic elements that Aquarius and Visions brought to the table. So this was the first time when I first heard it, I was slightly disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I was slightly disappointed. Like I say, though, it was that moment where I felt a little bit of a tang of disappointment when I first heard this album. Not because I felt it was bad. It's just that it wasn't quite what Haken was to me. They were evolving, they were growing, they were changing with the landscape around them. And at the time, I wasn't quite as comfortable with that as I might be today. If I'd listened to this album, like out of context, just going in chronological order from start to finish, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. But this is a long ass time ago. This is 12 years ago. I would have been, oh God, I would have been 27. Dear Lord. Young man back then. Good Lord. But I still love it. I just don't masterpiece it like a lot of people do.
Yeah, I definitely, I think this is it's the key moment for me in that my listening started with that. And I wish in this instance I had started at the other end. I think that's my takeaway. But yeah, interesting. So, what number did you say that one was for
Number
you?
four. That's my number four.
Okay.
All right, and takes more time between the albums here because then it
Yes.
takes 3 more years until Affinity was released. So this got released after gave them a shot in the first instance, and I think, but still, I listened to this probably years after it was released because I think it was because of this '80s vibe that they
Yeah.
put into.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole it's called 1985. That's the opening track, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, or
Close enough.
is
It's
it
Third
not
not?
it's not the opener, but
It's
Oh,
third
okay.
track.
Well,
It's the first big track. It's the first
that's
big
right.
track.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And I remember I thought that was kind of cool because just
Yeah.
like Identity on Riverside's last album, it has like
Mm.
that, okay, we're doing the '80s synth pop thing,
Yeah.
but we're doing it prog metal wise.
Hell yeah.
But I don't remember, like, did they really keep that up in the rest of the album? No, no,
Not
no.
really. No.
There's
No.
probably a little bit in like Earthrise and
Yeah.
yeah, like a
But
little
as like
bit.
as like an overall vibe, I'd say it's not really like an 80s style album. I mean, the album
Mhm.
art is a little bit 80s
Yeah.
on the fact that,
Yeah, for
on the
sure.
back it says like Drive A and stuff like that, and
Oh, yeah.
Affinity.exe. It's kind of got that old school kind of like computer vibe going on to it. Even the fact that even
Right.
the top corner there is HKN4, which I thought was quite amusing because it's like, yeah, it's the fourth album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, well
Well,
done,
so
guys.
those are my opinions on it. Yeah, I'm of course with the album cover art and stuff like that. I would then more think of '90s, but that's of course because that's when I
No, for
was
sure.
sitting with a .exe file,
Yeah.
launching Doom or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big same. You figured out MS-DOS when you were a kid, and it's just like, I am
right.
Hacker Man.
Yes, that. But yeah, so that's of course good times. Did you have a good time with this album?
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Affinity. I have this ranked as my number three. This is my number three album, and it was close between this and The Mountain. I'm not gonna lie. The one of the main things which kind of like it's so stupid. Like I was like, hang on a minute, I'm going in chronological order as well as just like into it's like the first album's the best one, the second album's the
It's
second best one. I
weird.
was like, come
Yeah.
on, what? I was like, what are you doing? It's like, don't rank
It
them
is
like this.
like
This
that
is a
with some
scary
bands.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's like a curve. It just goes "Woo," like that. But no, I
yeah,
love
yeah.
Affinity. I will controversially say though, the one thing in Affinity which actually brings it down a little bit for me, and it's like something you think I'd enjoy a lot, is Einar Solberg's guest vocals on The Architect.
Yeah, they're
You
hard
think
to
I'd
hear.
love that. Yeah, I don't like his vocal. I do not like his guest vocal spot. It's not even that I feel like he's phoning it in. It's just I don't think it fits. I don't think it matches. I remember somebody did a YouTube edit where they basically mashed up the instrumental version of the track with the main one and basically removed his vocal. They were like, we're gonna just cut those out and throw them in the bin. And honestly, I kind of wish they had because I love Einar. I think he's one of the most gifted vocalists alive. He's absolutely superb. There's no way anybody can possibly deny that. But the way he just delivers that part on The Architect, it's not good. Luckily, the
Josh, is
rest
the
of the song is
friendship over?
incredible.
Is the friendship over now, Josh? Or
No, it's good. I'd actually agree. To me, it seems like the part wasn't written for him. That's
Yeah,
what it seems like to me. And I
yeah.
think that it actually it's a similar with I think when we're talking about the Soen one where we had Joel from Catatonia. Actually, it's the
Mm,
Catatonia episode where Joel jumped into that song
yeah,
Impermanence. I think we said the
yeah.
similar things. We're just like the
What
kind of
cameo.
fits
The
with
sticks
the
out.
cameo's
band? Yeah,
nice, I
yeah,
guess, but I
yeah.
think I'd probably prefer to have just stuck to the actual singer who I think it was written for. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I know everybody clowns on the death growls in Aquarius, and quite rightly so. They're not great death growls. Ross doesn't have a great death growl at all, and it's weird that they only kind of did it once. But I feel like that section on the Architect, if they were going to insist upon having that kind of vocal delivery, I just think Ross should have just done it. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I really just think Ross should have just done it. But luckily, as I say, for me, the rest of the album is absolutely killer. Again, saw them live when they were promoting this one, and it was really fun having Ross just come on with the shutter shades on when they did 1985 with like the piano tie and everything like that as well. He was decked out like a full 1980s video guy. It was a lot of fun. But I feel this is quite a consistent album. It brought back that extra variety of sound that I had missed from the previous two ones, which is why I felt this one was a bit of a stronger record than The Mountain. There are some moments in it which don't sit as me as well, like Red Giant and Earthrise. They're fine. They're there. They exist. They're perfectly fine. But I just think that the rest of the album is more than makes up for it. Like that combination of everything up to and including the Architect is such a strong first half, and the Architect as a whole, as a an epic, really sort of brought them back to my attention. That Einar Solberg notwithstanding, we can glaze past it. It's fine. It doesn't ruin the song. It just it's like you've got something smooth road, and boop, you got a bit of a bump, and then you carry on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number three pick.
I don't think it detracts from it either. Like, and that's to me, it's just I just go, yeah, it's just not a high point. And it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the Architect is a weird track in that it is
Mm,
pretty. It's good. Like, there's some stuff in it. I like a lot of it, but in the end, during that section, I as well start to turn off a little bit too.
yeah.
But Affinity is a weird one for me because this was the first album where I went, oh, I love the album. Like so this was the first one because I'd listened to some of the Mountain before and I dabbled, but once I actually went, I'm going to listen to all of Affinity from start to finish. I went,
Mhm.
yep, that's a great album. That's a good album.
Yeah,
I absolutely adore 1985. I just think that track
yeah.
is so good.
It really
I,
is.
yeah, and funnily enough, I like Earthrise, and I have this
Okay, sure.
weird thing that's like this poppy sensibility that's just I like light-hearted, happy big
Sure.
contrast to like this kind of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
that
yeah.
happens in it and I think it does have a bit of a retro soundscape that track itself and so obviously
For
1985
sure.
too the Endless Knot is great. I
Oh, yeah,
think
it is.
I
I
think
love that
it's
one.
so good and so I think this is a really consistent album like you said again but it does have a few little dips and so this is
Yeah.
why I put this one at 4 so this
Okay,
one
sure.
and I was wrestling behind do I put Aquarius or
Mm,
Affinity and where do I put them and there's another album that they're pretty much Like it's any given day.
Yeah,
It's based on a mood, I think, is the way I would put like where I would rank them. But I think this is a great album. I really enjoy it. I think the one draw card, which is why I went to it, was Einar specifically, and in the end, that was
yeah, yeah.
especially on my first listen. I didn't like that track at all. But
Yeah, fair, fair.
as I've got to listen to it a fair bit, actually, you've gone, oh, it's actually pretty good. So
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, and yeah,
oh,
it's you're Mr. Bass. This has a different bass player, or
Yes, this is the
yeah,
well, it's not the
yeah,
first thing where they introduced Connor, because Connor comes into things with their Restoration, which was the EP where they reworked some of the tracks from the demo of Enter the Fifth Dimension. That's where he first comes into things. But the Affinity is the one where he is the first. It's his first LP where they have Connor Green on bass, and obviously he's been with the band ever
did
since.
I read somewhere as well that this was the first album where different members of the band wrote different tracks?
Possibly. Let me have a quick check of the liner notes, see if I
Maybe.
can spot anything.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I thought I'd read that, or at least that they had a heavy hand in uh like mixing it up a little bit. So they've jumped away
Maybe.
from um
Yeah.
look,
I'm not sure.
maybe people can check that out for us and write a comment if they
Yeah.
know. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm making stuff up. That's right. And you can tell me I'm all wrong.
I can have a look at the writing credits while you guys talk about the 2018 release, the third
Ooh.
newest one, Vector. I
Yeah.
know absolutely nothing about that album, so I have nothing to contribute there. Yeah,
Catch up.
except for the
Catch
album
up
art,
album.
it's very
Yeah.
very stylistically clean.
Um,
Catch up. Catch up.
do you want to, you lead, Ian, you're the guest.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so this one was very exciting to me because, first of all, I love the album art. I think it and obviously the subsequent virus, I love the fact they got this whole like ketchup and mustard thing that they went with. That. I think it's great. I have this like, design on a t-shirt as well, which I picked up at a show, which is great fun. So, no, God, before I get into it, a funny little snippet about that show. I went with a couple of friends of mine, and it was God, who was it? It was Haken, Vola, which was awesome, by the way, and that band that Max Portnoy was in. I don't remember the name of the band. He
I
was
have
in this
no
little
idea.
band back in the day.
Okay.
So obviously Mike Portnoy's son's drumming there and whatever. And we get to the end of the show, and the merch stand is there and everything, and Portnoy's there doing everything. And one of my friends, he just yells really loudly in the direction, "Hey Max, I really like your dad's band." Just like I was like, "Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that." I was like, "Oh no, this is so embarrassing."
How did he react? How did he react?
He sort of looked a little bit dumbstruck, like he was looking around. What the hell? Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah. That's a bit
It was
harsh.
also the same. It was the same gig that I ended up getting at an illegal selfie with Richard, which was really fun because we were trying to figure out where the hell in the building this gig was supposed to be, and we accidentally kind of wandered into the backstage VIP area. We weren't supposed to
Mhm.
be there, and Richard was just there vibing, and the security was like, "You can't be here." And Richard's like, "No, no, 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 it's fine, it's fine, it's fine." So we just chatted him for like 5 minutes and gotten what
Awesome.
we've always referred to as the illegal selfie, which is quite fun. I'll
Oh,
have to dig it out
nice.
later and see if I can put it on my socials. But that was anyway. Like I mean, anecdotes notwithstanding, like I say, I've got a lot of history with this band. I've seen them a whole bunch, so I've got millions of anecdotes about every single time I've interacted with them, which has been quite fun. But Vector, love Vector. I'm a big fan of this one. It is ranked at number one, two, three, four. This is my fifth ranked, so it is a little bit lower down. It is a little bit lower down, but I feel it's more of a commentary on the strength of everything that led up to this point rather than a besmirching of the actual album itself. I love the kind of weird sort of what's the best way of putting it, like asylum vibe they've gone with on this, like it feels like a 1950s psychiatric ward thing going on. They've got a lot of things like with the Good Doctor and Puzzlebots.
Yeah.
They've all got that kind of weird vibe to it. I think it's really strong. This, I feel at the time, was definitely their heaviest album to date.
Hmm.
They really lent a lot more into, like they say, that gent thing again.
Yeah.
They do a
Yeah.
lot more heavy stuff going on here. But tracks like Veil, which is so friggin' good.
Yeah, it
Oh my God,
is.
I love
Yeah.
Veil so much. especially and Puzzle Box as well is
Yep.
incredible, you
Yep.
know, especially like that bit at the end where he goes, how can truth set us free when lies are all we have? Oh my God, that bit live was so hype, you would not believe it.
That's
Everybody
cool.
is screaming to that bit. It's so freaking good. Like I liked this album when I first heard it. I did. I thought it was a lot of fun. Contextualized in a live setting, I like this album even more, and that is going to become something that is going to rear its head again when I talk about one of the later albums as well. But Vector, I thought was strong, especially because at the time I was very much getting much more into my darker, heavier, more aggressive music. You know, a lot of people say as you get older, you slow down, you listen to softer stuff. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm getting older. I want to listen to more stuff which makes my neck hurt when I listen to it, you know. So, so Vector really ticked a lot of boxes for me. I know a lot of people, especially like in the
Maybe
prog
your
rock
neck
world.
hurts because you're getting older. That's
I
what.
mean, yeah, it's a combination of headbanging and the fact that my joints stopped working properly. Oh God, ugh,
Sorry, sorry. Go on, go
no, it's
on.
fine. But I know a lot of people in like the prog rock world don't like this and Virus that much because they are much, much heavier albums. And so I do feel that I don't want to say that they get a lot of unnecessary criticism because I do see the criticism that people have for these albums and I do hear them. I understand them. I do feel personally they should have released it as a double album. I think
There
it
you
would have
go.
worked better in the context as an actual double album release rather than two singular ones released independently of each other.
They're
Like
also,
Automata 1 and 2 by Between the
yeah.
Buried and Me.
I was just
Do
going to say
not come at me and tell me those are the same.
they're also 41 minutes or something, right? So both
Yes,
of
they're
them
quite
are
short.
they're a bit shorter, and so
Yeah, they are.
I have heard I can't remember where I either read it or heard people saying the same thing, and I was like, oh, and they do
Yeah.
go very well together.
Yes, they
Like
do. Yeah.
they do.
Stylistically and thematically, they pair extremely well. It's
Yeah,
like wine and cheese or whatever, you know, they just work perfectly together.
yeah.
Like I say,
Okay,
it's
what
like
about
people
Vector?
trying.
Are we talking about Vector and Virus, or what
Yes,
do you
Vector and
mean?
Virus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean,
Yeah.
at least in my research, there's yeah, exactly thematically, obviously, but there's 2 years between them.
Yes, there is. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is
yeah.
absolutely. I think COVID. I
This,
think COVID was partly one of the reasons for that as well,
Yeah.
which is rather
oh,
unfortunate that we ended up with an album called Virus, which was released during COVID, which was like whoopsie,
all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whoopsie daisy. Which apparently the main
Yeah, that's
system
kind of
was
like
then was yeah, yeah.
live scenes of New York, which was supposed to have the Twin
Yes,
Towers on, and then
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
released on the same day that happened, and quickly recall goes for
yeah.
silly money on Discogs now. It's crazy. But the fact they both got very similar album artworks, they both start with a V, but they've both got this weird new like logo that they designed for it as well because they can't decide on a logo design. Like it changes so often. Get a
Mm.
consistent logo, Haken. There's my biggest criticism of the band. Come on, stop pissing
Ah,
around and pick a logo.
So
well, if that's the
But
worst thing, yeah, yeah.
that's right.
yeah, yeah.
That's
But like I
it's
say,
really
it's
it's
no,
all
no,
right.
go, go, go.
I was just going to say. So what did you say that you rated that one? Oh, you put that in
This
at
one is number five for me.
yeah.
Vector is number
Okay.
five for me. You know,
So
it's an enjoyable record, but it misses a little bit of the variety of the previous releases.
it definitely doesn't have the variety of some of the others as
Yeah.
well. And so I was really, this was one of the ones I was wrestling with the most. I
Mm.
think this one, it could be in all sorts of ways. I think it's just so strong. Veil is such a good track. Number one,
Mm.
absolutely loved it. It was sensational. The puzzle box was amazing. The Good Doctor's great. It ends really well with the closing track, A Cell Divides.
Yeah.
Like I think it is a really, really, really strong album, and it has nothing bad in it. But like you said, it's not as diverse as the other ones
No,
were, and they
it's just metal,
create.
metal, 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 metal.
Yeah, but here's where we get to the big part. I've rated this
Mm.
number two.
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 Wow. Okay. Sure. Okay.
Because it's my jam.
That's fair. That's
Like,
absolutely legit. That is absolutely legit.
I really like, as we've discussed this before, like I love heavy music,
Sure. Sure.
but
Sure.
not heavy vocal so much. And so for me, they kind of
Kind of
hit
ticks
this.
that box. Yeah.
It ticks the big box for me. So it's a tough one, and I've thought about it, and I have read quite a few people saying that they would rate it very highly, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's definitely this is just personal preference on soundscapes.
No, absolutely,
And I don't know,
absolutely.
like if I were going to build a playlist, I'm going to chuck, the puzzle box on it. I'm going to put Veil on it. I'm going to put all of these things in it and go,
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
like, let's go. And so I had to do it based on
You
likability.
have to accept the social responsibility that's going to come from putting Vector above the mountain, though. You do realize that.
I recognize it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We could end up, Simon
Lately,
might
I
just,
salute you. I salute you.
yeah, Simon will have you as the regular person on the show from now on, and they'll say the person responsible for this atrocity has been Brian.
Being removed from their questionable opinion.
That's right. Okay, so that's where I stand when it comes to this one. I think it's an amazing
Yeah, for
album. I think it's
sure.
a great album, like you said, and it's good. And also for me, I have nothing in it that I would rate like everything is better than good as well.
Mm.
Like it's all good.
Yeah, again, that's
Yeah.
fair. Totally legit. I get that.
So after that, we jump to what, Simon? We're going to come on,
Yeah, then you still have the virus. Yeah.
correct.
Hell
Da-
yeah.
Yeah.
um, do we do? How's about you continue, Ian?
Okay, so again, Virus was a kind of a. I loved this one when I first heard it. I was very, very excited when I first heard Virus, partly because of Messiah Complex. I love Messiah Complex because it basically feels like the ultimate reward for Haken fans. Also, I just noticed something on the back of look, okay, look how this is lined up. Okay, look at track number one. Let me just get that with it.
Yep.
Why is that indented slightly less than everything else? What is going on with that? Who is responsible for this?
It's got to be.
Who
It's
and
deliberate.
Inside Out Music is
You,
responsible? They've done
you,
that to annoy. I've literally only just noticed that. It's so
it's,
annoying. Jesus Christ.
That's
Anyway,
interesting. Yeah.
I'm getting distracted here. I'm talking about Messiah Complex. Okay, so especially this song, is one of my favorite Haken songs because like I say, it feels like a reward for everybody. It's got so many, I don't want to say in jokes, but it's got so many references, so many callbacks to everything across their discography. It's so freaking cool. Even Ectobius Rex, the final part, Ectobius Rex, that basically is Latin for cockroach king. So, go figure,
yeah,
which is cool
yeah.
as hell. But again, I've got a little anecdote again because look at me, it's taken an anecdote. Whoever would have expected I would do that? Crazy. So I ran a D&D campaign a few years back, and I used that song as a kind of basis for a lot of the characters and themes and stuff like that within that campaign. Like I had a dragonborn cleric who was going to betray the party. His name was Marigold. So obviously, that's one of the parts of this is Marigold. And there was a moment in it where I got to slip in the line, "Careful what you wish for, Marigold." And obviously, I'm the only person that makes any sense to during this D&D campaign. The end villain was an elder brain called Ectobius Rex. There was all these little references that I had to various parts of the Haken discography across the D&D campaign, and I was just doing it for me because nobody else knew it, and everyone thought I was a great storyteller, coming up with great names and everything. I'm like, no, I just cribbed it all from a progressive metal band.
Yeah.
It's fine. Nobody knows. It's just mine. That's mine now. I'm taking this idea and I'm claiming it as my own.
Yeah.
Seems
Virus,
like
like
a
I
very
say,
D&D compatible band,
yeah.
though. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's just progressive metal for you in general, isn't it? It's sort of like swords and sorcery and spells and all that sort of stuff. But this is actually my lowest ranked Taken album. This is not a hot take to rank this one the lowest. It's often done. The only I don't even know if I'd rank the no, I'd rank it below the demo album actually as well, Enter the Fifth Dimension, because that album slaps. It's really good. But let's just assume that one doesn't exist for now because it's kind of like whatever, it's slightly non-canon. Virus is a strange one for me because I feel outside of Messiah Complex, it's not that strong. It just isn't. There are some good moments on it in general, like Carousel's pretty good and Canary Yellow's pretty good. But hand on heart, if I had to sort of like confess like how much of this album stuck with me, outside of Messiah Complex, not a lot of it did. I love the fact that they were basically able to create what was effectively a in-joke sort of song for the fans, There's so many little nuggets and references that we can appreciate and enjoy and be like, oh, it's the thing from that previous album. Oh my God, it's a reference, it's a callback, yada, 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 which is great. But as an experience in and of itself, if you disconnect it from all that, you divorce it from all the associated works that have come before it, I just don't think it hit. It missed the mark in ways that the other albums didn't miss the mark. Not to say that it's a bad album at all. It's a good album, of course, because it's Haken. They don't seem to know how to make bad albums. It just didn't land as strongly as everything else in their discography could have done. Not for me, at least.
Yeah, right. Oh, there you go. I think that's what most people's opinions are. And I think you've
Yeah.
vocalized everything that everybody says. Um,
Mm.
for me, again, I like the sounds. Like I like the soundscape, and for me,
Hmm.
that's the big win. I also think it starts off with prosthetic, and that song just, I think that is
Yeah.
hands down one of my favorite songs they've ever done. And it's not Haken, like
Yeah.
in inverted commas, like it just that's
Yeah.
if someone says Haken, everyone thinks Cockroach King, or you think of all of these other things. But for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
like prosthetic sits outside of them. But I love it. I've had that on so many like playlists when I just want
Sure.
something that slaps hard and gets your energy up a little bit. And so I quite like that. I quite liked. I think it was Carousel. You mentioned.
Yeah.
I
Carousel
agree. I
stuff.
think
Yeah.
it's got some lovely bits in it too. I thought Canary Yellow was decent as well. But really, like you said, Messiah Complex is pretty much what it's
Yeah.
about. And I think this album got much better for me once I'd done everything else.
Yeah.
And
Once
so
you've got the context.
oh my gosh. And so going back to it now has actually been really good because I did give Virus a bit of a go. Like after I did
Sure.
Affinity, Virus was the next one that I tried out and listened to a bit and I liked it. But now it's better. And it's better because of context. And so
Exactly.
yeah,
Is
but
it
so
also melodically making sense, or is it more of a
oh,
thematically?
they literally have throwbacks and tunes from their other
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
albums
yeah.
that
So
pop
it's
up
like
within
turns everything
tracks.
into a suite, more or less. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Like
it's
literal, like identical melodic patterns happened in that song that happened in previous ones, and it's
Yep.
so
Yeah.
cool when it happens because it's only brief. It's like little snippets, just to throw little nuggets at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
But that's what you want. That's super cool. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it feels like an Easter egg. Like it's like,
yeah,
oh my
Yep.
God, I
Right.
discovered it.
Right.
Like that's cool.
Yeah.
It's got that
Yeah. Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah. 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 I
So
get it. Cool.
so I don't know. I think that to me that sort of pushes it up a little bit. And so and there's nothing I don't like in it either.
that's
Like
fair.
it's so and so it's in the end I think it and the mountain are a tie for me. Um,
Okay.
and I put Virus just above it. So I've got it at fifth.
This
Okay.
goes
Yeah.
going hate clicks. We love it. We love it.
so so yeah, I've got that one at fifth, right? Which means
What a,
Okay,
what a
sure.
cliffhanger that one was, Josh. Okay, we're getting to the end.
You won't believe what's at number 3.
I know.
For the ones that keep track, but I have not really kept track, so it will still be a little
It's
bit
all
of a
right. We'll,
surprise
we'll give
here.
a sum up at the end.
Yeah, at the end we'll
Yeah,
summarize.
exactly. We got so in 2023 they released their latest studio album. They released a live album this year, but yeah, studio album Fauna, and Peter Jones, the original
Yeah,
member, is back on this one.
yeah.
We played on that
The
demo
Jones played on
of
this.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is the latest. What's different about this one? Ian, I'll let you go first
Oh
again.
God, yeah. I have a complex relationship with Fauna. I reviewed this was the first Haken album I reviewed on my channel back in 2023, and I gave it quite a it's like 15-minute long review. I just kept on going. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot at the time, but I don't think this one has held up quite as well as I was hoping it would have done. This one I've got number 6 in my ranking. And I like it. I do like this album. I think it is strong. There are things like Elephants Never Forget is great. The shorter tracks like the Nightingale, Love Bite, Alphabet of Me. There's nothing here that is bad per se. There's nothing on this album which is bad. I'm trying to think of the best way of sort of like externalizing how I feel about this album. For me, this is the first time it has felt like the band are repeating themselves. It feels like it is the first time they are starting to make make a Haken record, but not make the next Haken record. It almost feels like they have looked back on themselves, thought to themselves, what worked the most from all of our previous records? Let's sort of take all those little bits and pieces, mash it together into a single album, and out comes Fauna. I feel that prior to this album, everything that they put out was the next natural progression. It was the next natural step forwards into how they can push their sound, how they can make themselves sound contextually different from themselves, whilst also still sounding like themselves as an overall concept. Fauna was the first step backwards for me. And I don't know if it's the lack of Diego on keyboards anymore, whether or not he was some sort of like secret sauce that was holding things together. It just felt to me like there was something missing. The first time that that little bit of secret sauce just was absent, you know? I did see them perform this live in its entirety. Last year, I went to see them on like an evening with Haken tour, which, by the way, absolutely best freaking gig ever because they did this and then did a second set with all the best freaking songs. And again, we got crystallized and we got visions one after the other. And I was like, yo, that's nuts, that's insane. But seeing the whole of Fauna performed live did help me to appreciate it a bit more. That's oftentimes, like I said earlier in the video, like certain things work better in a live context. And I felt that a lot of the songs on Fauna did need that context of being shown in a live setting for me to appreciate them fully. Like, I wasn't sure on Pete Jones as a keyboardist at first, but seeing him live, he's got so much energy, so much passion and vibe to everything that he does. So they haven't missed a beat in that respect. I just feel like the songwriting, it's not quite there for me. I was debating having this as the last album actually in my ranking. I was debating putting this at number 7, but I feel like as an overall experience, it is stronger than Virus. But it's the oh god, it's the least inspiring Haken album. It's the one that I probably listen to the least because it doesn't inspire me the way the others do. You know. So
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I mean, it's of course I cannot speak too much on this, but it is to me a bit logical that you would have this experience because, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a band that makes these huge turns of style changes like if you would have, for example, well, let's take Soen for example that we've discussed that really goes well. Not that they have this upward ranking when we rank that, but it's logical that after well, it's not a new band anymore. It's the 7th album. You
Exactly.
would assume that they would creatively maybe stagnate a little bit,
Yes,
even though
absolutely.
from what I understand, like instrumentally, and that Ross vocals is apparently still getting better, at
Oh
least.
yeah, Ross's vocals are so much better these days. I think this is vocally his strongest performance yet. Like I know a lot of people
Right.
have
Yeah.
issues with Ross as a vocalist, but I've always loved him. But
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
love
I
James
think that.
LaBrie, so go figure.
Yeah. 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 Me too. On in studio, like
He's
at
not
least
so much
post.
live.
It's not always what you want on live, but yeah,
No.
whatever. Yeah, so I can imagine that is, and especially if you went, if you're there from day one, like
Yeah,
you more or
exactly.
less have been.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
imagine that this is the logical ranking, and of course,
yeah. Because it's
you
kind of like
also,
I've grown with the band.
yeah, but and of course also like what you also said, you were all bought into Dream Theater, and of course it's more of a period where you're more focused on one band, and now you're reviewing this for
Yeah,
you know you hear so much stuff. It cannot,
exactly.
every album will have a
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
less significance. Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of the curses of doing this.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
I think
Josh, what's your take on this one?
I've got this as my number 7, so I do have this as the
Yeah.
7.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
And it's interesting because I think its highs are some of the like some really good things, and I think I mentioned before, like I love Bite. I don't know why.
Mm.
It's just and that
It's a great little
live
track.
and live when the crowd's like oh way or like that kind of
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is
yeah.
a fantastic moments and so the I don't know. I also liked Taurus when it dropped like that album. I was like oh I'm liking this and
Yeah.
but and Nightingale's strong too, but on the whole, this has my low points where they do just peter off a little bit. And I
Mhm.
think, again, if this is my first experience of Haken, right, like, or at least it's up there, like it's the thing that's coming out when I'm looking at the mountain, and it's the thing that's it's the hypes are surrounding, it kind of it now makes a lot more sense to me why as I've gone backwards and really explored the discography that I just kind of go, oh, I've looked at the wrong part first. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
this doesn't usually happen with me. Usually if I listen to a band I'm just discovering, I'll do the more recent one to work out where is their evolution first. And
Yeah.
then I tend to work my way backwards to work out like when did they become who they
Hmm.
become. Whereas I have a friend of mine who does the opposite. He always starts at the beginning and he will
Yeah, I'm
go,
the same.
okay, yeah, and so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting, but it's a different approach, right? And in this instance, this did not serve me. Like,
No, that's
I
fair.
think I would have been a much bigger Hagen fan much sooner if I just started
Hmm.
with Aquarius.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so now I'll go back to tracks from Fauna and check it out of like, but I did the least
Yeah.
with this in preparation for today, because I was just less inspired to do so. And it's not bad. Like if this is my number seven, this is a really good band.
Yeah, exactly. Like Taken's number 7 is still leagues better than some bands' number 1, you
Mm,
know?
mm.
It's crazy to me how consistent of a discography they have in the grand scheme of things, you know?
Yeah. So I've got mine as seventh was Fauna, six was the Mountain. I know I'm gonna get shot. Fifth was Virus, which means I'm really gonna get shot. And then I've got Affinity, and then Aquarius, and then Vector, which is a bit of a surprise, but maybe understandable. Hopefully, And then we got Visions at number one. What was yours? The other, what was
Mine
yours?
was from 7th to 1st, we go Virus,
Yep,
Fauna,
yep,
Vector,
yep.
The Mountain, Affinity, Visions, and Aquarius. If we
Yeah,
want to get spicy and throw Restoration and Enter the Fifth Dimension into the equation, then and we have like 9, let's
yeah,
say,
yeah.
then we would say that Enter the Fifth Dimension becomes 8th,
Okay.
just ahead of Virus. And because there's enough content on this to be basically almost the length of a full album, I would slot this one in between, oh golly, in between Affinity and the Mountain. So
Okay.
quite high. I love the Restoration EP. It contains what I think personally is their best song, Crystallize. I will say that it's the one that it's based off of, Snow, on this. I again, if you have to ask me which do I prefer between Snow and Crystallized, if you gave Snow the production of Crystallized, then Snow wins.
Right.
I would thoroughly recommend people do not sleep on the demo album. It's like an hour long. You know, this is a full length album. You think demo album, you think oh, 20
And
minutes
it's
worth of
and it's all
music.
different songs from Aquarius. It's all different
Yeah,
songs from Aquarius.
yeah, all different. They're completely
Yeah.
different songs. There's
Okay.
nothing on this. Nothing on
Okay.
this is on any. The only thing that, and what they did with Restoration is it wasn't re-recordings, it was reimaginings. So you can
Mm,
listen to both of these things and get a different experience out of each of them. Because there's 6 tracks on
Cool.
this. You've got 6 tracks. You've got one, two, 3 of them are over 11 minutes long. Like, there's a
mm.
lot going on this. I would definitely recommend if people haven't listened to this, if you can get past the
Murky.
terrible production quality on it, and try and focus on the songwriting and what have you, this is a bloody good album. It's really good. I love Enter the Fifth Dimension. It's
I
the
think that's
best demo album from any band ever.
okay. Cool. Yeah,
Wow.
I think like a little bit of a problem that I might have had with Haken is that it's so huge. The sounds, that they indeed. It sounds like there's a lot of strings on the guitars. I mean, I guess there's seven, but they're really down tuned, and it's overdubbed, you know. So it's really like this wall
Yeah,
of sound, which is also a little bit what I can have a problem with David Townsend, for example.
yeah,
It's
for
also
sure.
bam, it's here, you
Yeah.
know, yeah, and so I think this muddiness might not be that huge of a problem for me then. I'm definitely going to check that out, and I'm
Oh
for
yeah,
sure going
it's
to check
very
out
good.
like a live album, perhaps. Do you have a like what
I have.
live album would you recommend?
I do have it somewhere. 2 seconds. Won't be a moment. You can still hear me probably. I'll find it.
Yeah,
You'll have to enjoy my background. Here it is. Here it is. I've got it. I've got it. I thought
yeah.
I'd be
You
clever.
found it in the vault.
Yeah, this one right here. This
All
one here.
right.
This was the
Yeah,
one that
yeah,
came out around the time of Affinity. And you
Yep.
can kind of tell
yeah.
because it's got the little
Yep.
bird that appears on the Affinity logo. This one's great.
Right.
Like I said, you've got Aqua Medley. That was it. That's really cool. On the first CD, they do like a little medley of a bunch of songs off of this. It's so
Right. Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
cool. It's
It's
so
like
good.
instrumentally more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Exactly, and they finish it off with Visions on the second disc. It's really good. It's definitely
Yeah.
worth listening to. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite live albums I've listened to. I like the
Cool.
new one again, which is from the tour that I went on, but not from the actual show that I was at because I went to the
Mm.
Manchester one, and then the day after they did it in London, and that's the one they
Oh,
recorded.
for real? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did miss that unfortunately. So, but there is a video. I think it was like Cockroach King live in Manchester where you can see me in the crowd. It was one they did
Okay.
officially
Okay.
release as well. So you
Yeah.
might not recognize me because I don't think I have a beard. I can't remember. It's
Does
very
that even?
cursed. It's
I
very
thought
cursed.
I just guessed you were born with that thing.
I mean, yeah, my actual chin extends down to there. I just look like that
Yeah,
meme
yeah.
of the Chad guy.
The
Like
Giga
that's just
Chad.
me. Exactly, I'm just Giga Chad underneath this because that's actually my jawline.
No, that's funny. I was just going to say so in regards to the probably a good opportunity to just say so Simon's not the diehard fan, right? Like he's not.
Sure.
How do we quickly and succinctly, if you will, because it's been a longer episode, I guess, how do we convince him that Haken's worth it? What do we
Oh, that
say?
is a question. Oh
You know,
golly,
yeah.
that's a hard one. That is a
Yeah, it
hard
is.
one.
It is, of course, a little bit of a hard one because the albums that you guys ranked the highest are the ones that I have heard.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
honestly,
that said,
if I was
sometimes it
looking to
just needs more
convince
listens.
somebody, exactly,
You know
I
what?
think honestly, say.
It took me 25 years to appreciate Yes, and now it's like one of my favorite bands. So sometimes it's just slow growers.
I would honestly say if I was trying to convince somebody for the first time, Restoration EP,
Oh,
100%.
yeah,
I really
cool.
do think the Restoration EP is a great starting off point. It's only 3 tracks, so you don't have to commit too much. It's for the shortest like on disc offering, so you don't have to commit too much to it. And it does contain what I feel is one of their most complete songs in form of Crystallized, which just covers every single mood and atmosphere that I love from the band. So I'd say go with it. I'd say go with the Restoration EP.
Cool,
I
man.
was
We'll definitely do that.
I
Yeah.
was going to say the interesting thing about them is they are diverse enough and they have a quirky side, they've got a heavy
Mm,
side, and then they've got a soft side. And I
yeah,
think the thing that about this band that you could find is that there's a lot of softer stuff actually that cuts through many of their albums, and especially their better albums like or the ones that I rated highly like
yeah,
Visions and Aquarius. Those they have these like beautiful soft like melodic
yeah,
sections as well. And so I think if you did your searching, or even if you had someone who knows the discography really well, they could probably send you stuff that kind of vibes in a certain way where you'd go, oh,
oh yeah,
that's really
100%.
cool. They've got like some really sensational instrumentation. Like these guys obviously can play their stuff. And I think for those who are musicians like yourself, Simon, I think there's a lot to unpack. So I'd be recommending sitting with it and maybe even just playing one song, one of their
Mm,
one of the epics or one of the ones that just play it over and over for a while and just see what you can
yeah.
sort of pull out of it because you might need to just sit on just the sound for a little bit too. But anyway, look, this was great, guys. Thank you so much for your time, Ian. It's a pleasure to have you on
It's
board.
always a pleasure. I'm looking forward to when we get to do this again.
Yeah, cool.
Oh well, I guess I should round this off, and then we can
Yeah.
chat a little bit more. But Thank you all for watching this. And next week, it's we have this a ranking thing, but with ELP, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So that will be a blast for you old school fans. Either way,
Yeah,
peace, everybody.
yeah, I'll
Oh
talk to
yeah,
you guys
yeah,
later. I was just going to say, we're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
switching the roles. So I'm going to host this one because I'm not the ELP guy. Simon's going to be there. And we've also got a guest coming in, which will be very exciting, who's a big fan. So so that's the plan, is to switch roles, and I'll play host and you guys can convince me why I need to listen to ELP. But anyway,
Yeah.
till then, everyone, yeah, peace out. See you next time. Thanks again and see ya.
Peace.
Bye.